Hello there, greetings and good evening. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So we're here to talk about new prog albums. And the prog album I've chosen for this week is from a band called Wolverine, and the album is called Anomalies. So when I first seen this album, I wasn't looking at it, but I was looking at it online before I listened to it. I thought, this is probably like a death metal band or something like that. And I knew they were from Sweden, so I wasn't sure that they weren't going to be. Pleasantly surprised with the album, and actually kind of not expecting it at all to be the way it was. It's quite a good album, but it's very different from a lot of stuff I've listened to. And then when I heard that it was kind of a prog metal album, I thought, okay, I got a kind of a feeling what it might sound like, but it didn't sound like that at all either. It's more symphonic. This is a band that kind of reminds me of Catatonia. I was trying to think of the name of the band. Except for this isn't as proggy. I don't think it's as proggy, and it's not as symphonic as them, but still really good. So, was released on February the 6th, 2026, so not too long ago, but a month ago. About 52 and a half minutes in length on the Music Theories recordings. Didn't give the producer, so I didn't put her down. The band consists of Stefan Zell on vocals, Jonas Johnson on guitar, Thomas Jansen on bass, Marcus Lobster on drums, and Per Hendrickson on keyboards. So when I'm thinking about this album overall, the two most dominant things on it are the guy's vocals, which are absolutely outstanding. The guy has an absolutely beautiful voice, like one of the best prog metal voices I've heard, if that's what you're going to call this band. Just absolutely smooth, clear, with a good range, sometimes very low, most of the time in the medium range, and often in the high range too. And his voice does not break or have any roughness to it or any raspiness to it at all. It's just clear, smooth sounding, just absolutely beautiful. And it doesn't give me that feeling that it's synthesizer fed either. It's just a clear sounding voice. The other dominant factor of this is the synthesizers, of course, because it's a prog metal band. Probably more of a symphonic prog band in my estimation. Lots of synthesizers, well timed, giving a lot of atmosphere to this particular album. There is some guitar. It's used sporadically. Sometimes it's used in a kind of heaviness where it is very riffy, but more often it's used in a soloish type melodic feel to it. Very emotional guitar. I wouldn't say it's dominantly emotional. At times it's just there, making noise. The drums are used sporadically too. You hear them at times, sometimes a little forward, most of the time fairly back. I don't remember much about the bass. But overall, I found this band to be, kind of a doomy band, but the voice doesn't really fit that doomy feel to it. I wouldn't call it a doomy band. It's definitely have that heavy, dark atmosphere to it. But it also has, the guy's voice is so clear and up tempo that it almost has a majestic feel to it, I guess is a good word to put it. A very operatic type voice, I think. So anyways, we'll break the songs down. That's generally how I felt about the album, but the breakdown of the songs is important too. A Sudden Demise is the opening track. It's almost 6 minutes in length. Very fast-paced, distorted guitar. This is the outlier on the album, this song. I thought it was going to be when the album came on, I thought this was what it's going to all sound like, because that's normally what it is, but nothing like this. This is a very heavy song with lots of synthesizers in it. It does slow down with some nice vocals. which are very clear, kind of a medium to high range sound. Some acoustic sounding guitar parts here as well. The keyboard solo, very high in sound, almost off the charts, with a clear sounding guitar solo as well. So this is one of the heavier tracks on the album. I did like it. I like most of the stuff here. There's a few songs I didn't like as much, but overall I did like most of them. Next up is My Solitary Foe. This is about just over 6 minutes in length. A slow melodic low-end vocal part with some nice keyboard synthesizers added for atmosphere. It does pick up tempo, gets a bit heavier, a bit beefier, very forward, the guitar on this particular track. It does drop off at points. It does drop off and goes back to that low-end feeling and then builds up again. The guitar gets heavier, some more vocals are very dominant, medium to high in range, very powerful voice on this song. One of my favorite, probably one of my 2-3 favorite songs on the album. Circuits is next, another really solid song. A nice keyboard synthesizer opening with some light drums to kind of give it break up the monotony a bit. The vocals are soft, melodic, clear, high end. Keyboards are nice keyboard melodies on the track, as well as trying to think of how I wanted to say it. Not as heavy and not as heavy in sound as the previous tracks, but still a good track. And one of the shorter tracks on the album at just over pretty close to 3.5 minutes in length. Next up is a song called Nightfall. This is also just under 6 minutes in length. Another vocally driven song with a drum part and synthesizer part as backing, or giving it atmosphere. The song builds up to the keyboards, quite a bit heavier. Then you get some vocals that are almost operatic-like in the middle of the song. And then it gets a nice heavier guitar part towards the end of the track as well. So a pretty strong track as well. Now the back half. I think the back half is both better and worse at the same time. So there's a couple tracks that aren't so strong, and then the other 3 tracks are really strong. So we'll start with the next song up, which is This World and All Its Dazzling Lights, one of the weaker tracks on the album. Heavy synthesizer sound opens the song up. It does pick up pace with some nice keyboards and drums. The vocals are clear, mid-range, very forward, very strong, very dominant. That's pretty typical of this album, to be honest. The drums and synthesizers do dominate as backing atmospheric sound to it. It does kind of fade towards the end, towards a more of a synthesizer sound before it does a little bit of a jump up right at the end, which is kind of interesting. The next track is called Automatum, or Automatum, however you want to say it. It's got a slow melodic vocal forward, clear, mid-range vocal at the beginning. Some piano accompanies the first experience with a piano by them on this album. The synthesizers and organ join to give some depth to the piano, and then you've got some nice kind of background sound going on at the same time. It does grow in tempo before it does a fade out. Probably the weakest track on the album. I almost didn't like this track, but the use of the piano really kind of pulled it up for me. Next is A Perfect Alignment. This is one of the longer tracks on the album. In fact, the back 3 tracks are the 3 longest. This one's almost 6.5 minutes in length. A Perfect Alignment is the name of it. It's a nice synthesizer opening with a kind of dark feel to it. It kind of reminds me of Empire Strikes Back when he goes into the cave to confront Darth Vader's vision. Yeah, it gives me that kind of feel. The vocals are clear, melodic, with an extra background vocal, not too strong, but just there to give it support. The synthesizers are, they kind of mix in fairly well here with the percussion part. It's almost a synthesizer percussion part, if you know what I'm trying to say. It does build up and become more symphonic as it goes along this track, and then it gets a melodic heaviness to it as well. It continues to build in a strong symphonic sound till it crescendos and then drops off before it comes back up again. A decent track. I like this one. Losing Game, probably my favorite track on the album. Arguably my favorite track on the album. Nice heavy guitar driven opening with a synthesizer for background and make it feel heavy. It does drop off when it gets to that and gets that mid-range vocals, which are dominant again. The song builds up again. The vocals get higher in range and but are still clear. He doesn't seem to break. His voice never seems to break. It's just very smooth. Nice crescendo. Several times this happens actually. And then kind of a melodic, heavy symphonic guitar solo. Could almost be a keyboard, but it isn't. You can tell it's a guitar. And then it breaks into this fast-paced solo guitar part, which is much more guitar sounding and almost metal sounding at times. And it ends off like that, very heavy song. So to me, this is the perfect song by them. Of all their songs, I think this one has all the stuff that I like, that I think is best about this band. The smooth sounding vocals, the heavy guitars, the dominant synthesizers and stuff like that. Just really strong. Next up is the final track on the album, which is called Scarlet Tide. Nice symphonic atmosphere. This is also coincidentally the longest track at about 7.5 minutes in length. Very symphonic, atmospheric open, some melodic guitar sounds, low, clear, mid-range vocal parts, nothing too out of the ordinary. The vocals then become more dominant, and they go from a low to a high range, very operatic in sound, very strong, very smooth. All the perfect things that this guy's voice is are demonstrated in this song. The guitar does jump up as the song goes along, gets heavier, more melodic, very bombastic at times as well. And then there's a guitar solo right at the end, which is very melodic, very heavy, very emotional sounding actually, but nothing like you would get from Time on Pink Floyd or anything like that. But it's just has all those same elements, but just doesn't sound like that at all. This is probably the other song that I think is my favorite on the album. So it's probably for me, it's between the last two songs, which I think are the best. Overall, I really kind of like this album much more than I thought I would. This is a Swedish band, of course. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to comment about Wolverine the band, or if you want to comment about this album Anomaly, you can do that as well in the comment section below. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of New Prog Albums. We will be back next week with another one. I have some on the way, and if the album I've ordered from Laser CD, a particular album that I was going to do a few weeks ago and then had an issue with it, so decided to wait on it, and then I purchased it. It's coming from Laser CD, so hopefully it'll get here by that time next week, and I'll be able to use that one for the video for next week's new album, Prog album. So hope to see you all then. Take care and have yourself a good evening and good night here from the Prog Monster.